Here we have it. Hi, everybody. I'm just getting prepared here because something's always going on with this POTUS report. Yeah, just bear with me for just a second. I want to welcome everybody. I don't know what's going on with YouTube Live. They're really hold on. Week in policy and events. Okay, so this is crazy. This is crazy. YouTube is just busting my chops, boy, let me tell you. Okay, so we're all set. Sorry about that, everybody, but that's how it goes with these live streams. So, hi, everyone, and welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. This is Saturday, August 29th, 2020. This is GoldFish Report number 556, and this is week 186 POTUS report. It's our weekend edition. We did not have a midweek report because, of course, because of the convention that everybody was watching. And I know everybody was watching it, right? So I'm going to go back to where I was. Yes, here we go. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Delacroix, are you on Twitter? Because I think I see you on Twitter too, actually. Can hear and see you. Okay, wonderful. Everybody can hear and see me. Yeah. Okay. No, we won't have this repeat from earlier in the week. So I wanted to just welcome everybody. It's been a long week. I did have a few days off. And I want to also welcome all the listeners on Ascension Radio. To everybody on Ascension Radio, you're not going to be able to see the videos and the screen shares that I'm showing, but you can listen along because I do read out all of the most all of the press releases. And for those who want to learn more, you can go to the goldfishreport.blogspot.com and you can view all of the transcripts and all of that in more detail if you'd like. So what I'm going to do sometimes yeah, I think I saw you on Twitter. I thought I did. So I hope everybody's doing well. Let me know how you're doing, how you're enjoying this last week of this hot, steamy, sticky, muggy weather. And I'm not, going to miss it going. Really, I am a polar bear. Just get this humid, sticky, hot weather out of here. So let's get moving along. It was a big week this week. We saw, the delegate count way over 2,000. The president only need like 1,200 and change, and it went well over 2,000. And then they panicked, right? Did everybody see the Democrats panic? Did you see the comment that Hillary Clinton made, stating that telling Joe Biden never to concede the election? And that's it. I mean, that tells you the panic is in the air, right? Is everybody ready to vote for President Trump in November? Let me know. Let me know what you're doing. Because, look, folks, this is horrible what's been happening with these riots, and these liberal governors are not protecting the people. There's no reason why this boy, Kyle Rittenhouse, should have been in a position to have to carry a gun with him and defend himself, which he did. It's really, really graphic. Here's the video. I'm going to screen share it. Before I move on to the president's news, I am going to screen share this because I have something a little bit shocking that I wanted to share with you, and probably will get, removed from YouTube. So anyway, take a look and tell me what you think for yourself, if you think this is self-defense. Here he is on the ground. The guy's coming at him with a gun. This guy's got a gun or a knife, or at least both. And what's he supposed to do? Still has the gun in his hand. Check it out. There. Check that out. See that? Still has the gun in his hand. So actually, I'm not recording. I'm going to start this over. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the GoldFish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. Today is Saturday, August 29th, 2020. This is GoldFish Report number 556, and it's week 186 POTUS Report Weekend Edition. Sorry that I had to repeat that, but I just realized I wasn't recording on my end. So, but I've got it now. So anyway, what we're doing right now is we're taking a look at some live video of Kyle Rittenhouse. And before we move on to the president's week, we were talking about the convention. Let's just listen to what happened here. Let's take a look. If you think this is self-defense, because folks, this is the crux of our Second Amendment. Guy comes at him, he's got a gun, got a knife, something falls, knife gets kicked on the ground. Do you think the guy was going to be hit? Wait, let's take a closer look. So let's just keep looking at this, right? Over and over again. They're coming towards him. He's on the ground. There's something shiny on the ground already there. What was that? See that? Is that a knife? So he comes at him with a knife and his arm, so she shoots him and the gun is still in his hand right there. See that, everybody? Now you don't see it. I'm sorry. I was screen sharing, then I wasn't screen sharing. Okay, let me do it again. Take a look. Right? There he has it. He has the, right? We're going to play it again. He's on the ground. Guy comes at him. There's the shiny thing on the ground, right? That was it at the bottom here, right? That was it. It was a knife. And of course, he shoots himself in self-defense. They're coming at him, right? And the guy's got a gun. Check it out. He's got a gun. There he is. Never drops his weapon. See? Right there it is, folks. Never drops his weapon. What do you think? Do you think it's self-defense? But wait, what else is going on in the background? We're going to have to take a closer look at this picture. Hold on a second. Oh, God. I'm going to get deleted. I know it. I'm going to have to show this. I have to show you this. If there's any kids in the room, you better leave now. Because this is unbelievable. Here's a close-up, right? Here he is on the ground. Got his weapon. There's other people. Here's this guy here. He's got the skateboard. And there's these people, other looters in the background, or I mean, other rioters in the background, possibly looters as well. Here he is again. This is Kyle Rittenhouse. But we see something strange going on back here. What on earth is going on? Does anybody see that? Has anyone seen this? I hate it to have to do this, but I'm going to have to show everybody this in close up. Oh boy, here it comes. Here it comes. What's going on? I mean, is this not a good time? Is it a good time to do something like this? Here's a guy. Here's his beard, and what's going on here? He's holding on to his legs. He's got his pants down to his knees. What the heck's going on here in the middle of this riot? Oh my God! I better take this off really quick before they delete me. What the heck? I tell you, folks, it doesn't get any crazier than this. This is about as crazy. I mean, this is nuts. What was going on there? Hi, everybody. It's Photoshop? Do you see? Well, how do you know? How do you know, right? I mean, what you see is you can tell in the background of the original photo that somebody was standing there. Clearly, I don't think it's Photoshopped. I wouldn't show it if I felt it was Photoshopped. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. You never know. But I want to welcome everybody. Let me just say hello to everybody. Welcome everybody who's just joining us on Ascension Radio and also on our YouTube live stream. Yeah, nobody really knows. I mean, how does anybody really know today, right? I just tell you that where the source I got it from, I had a reasonable, and this is how I operate. If I don't have it 100%, I will still, if I have a reasonable belief that that my source is credible. If it's a typical credible source, I will publish it. But I will put the caveat there that it's very possible, that it's very possible that it could be doctored, but I don't think so. I really don't think so because it's clearly in the background, and anything can be photoshopped. We don't even know what are we looking at. How do we know, right? Thank you. So I just wanted to share that with everybody because I thought, gee, no better time, with all the excitement going on. I guess he couldn't hold himself back. What the heck? Okay, so let's move along to the president. President had a huge week this week. Huge. Lots of other news I'm going to report on later in the week. I can't report on everything today, but there was lots of really great things today from the president. Let me just talk a little bit about some of the things that he was doing. As you know, today he was in Louisiana touring the Hurricane Laura disaster. Very, very compelling. Damage there is pretty serious. People are crazy. Look, this is a protest put a Trump doll on a guillotine. I mean, these people are just nuts. I mean, they're doing guillotines and they're doing BJs over in the corner behind everybody. It's like, what's going on with that? I just don't get it. Is that a good time? Who knows? It's not what I would think, but okay. So here we have the president talking today. Let's listen to what he had to say.
FEMA has delivered 2.6 million liters of water and 1.4 million meals, and that's a lot of meals. So you're pretty busy, I guess, Pete, right? That's incredible. Great job. Your people are incredible. You know, I haven't had, and Pete's done this now for a long time, but I haven't had one complaint with all of the storms we've had in Texas and here, and I haven't had one complaint. So you've done a hell of a job.
So that was a little difficult to hear because it was low. It was a low sound quality. But the president, here's another video clip that I'm going to share about what the president was doing today.
As Lake Charles, Louisiana residents try to pick up the pieces left from Hurricane Laura's fury, President Donald Trump on Saturday toured the devastated area. The president, wearing his red Make America Great Again hat, surveyed a tree uprooted by the Category 4 storm that made landfall in the state on Thursday. Downed power lines surrounded him, the city's residents still without electricity. Trump also spoke with volunteers organizing relief supplies at a warehouse and got briefed on the state's emergency operations a day after the president approved a major disaster declaration for Louisiana.
I'm here to support the great people of Louisiana. It's been a tremendous state for me. I love the people. We've had a good relationship right from the beginning. It's very important that I was here. And already met some people that have been absolutely devastated. This was a tremendously powerful storm.
The fierce storm killed at least 10 people across the state, spawned a huge fire at a chemical plant, damaged buildings, and knocked out power, not only for residents of Lake Charles, but hundreds of thousands of others. At its peak upon making landfall on Thursday morning, Laura had maximum sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. That's faster than Hurricane Katrina, which sparked deadly levee breaches in New Orleans on this day in 2005.
15 years ago today, and whether you come from Louisiana or Fifth Avenue in New York City, you know all about Katrina, right? That was a bad, bad deal and devastation. And now the devastation was far greater, even though the storm probably wasn't as powerful.
After visiting Louisiana, Trump flew to neighboring Texas, also lashed by this week's storm.
Yeah, 15 years ago today. Gee, what a coincidence, right, everybody? Isn't it amazing how these storms, almost happen on the same dates? That's a little strange, don't you think? So anyway, yeah. So here's the, let me see if I have anything else here. We have Sidney Powell here, who is out campaigning for, it's her first time, for Doug Collins. So that's on the Twitter feed. You can take a look. You have a massive Trump golf cart parade in Florida. Of course, it would be a golf cart parade in Florida. That's pretty funny. You come to the Twitter page and take a look at that. Today is the first birthday for U.S. Space Command, even though they've had Secret Space Force for probably 40 years. Okay, so there's that video again. Transparent toilets in Tokyo, all kinds of things, right? Going on, all kinds of things. There's campaign moments that I want to share, but I want to first get on with the rest of the news. Is everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Okay, so I'm going to, the toilets, what happens is as soon as you lock the door, the toilet goes, it becomes opaque. The walls become opaque. So it does something so that you have that privacy to go, take care of your business. But So I don't really know why they have to make it transparent. I guess they just want to show that it's that they're clean. I think that's what they're trying to do. So let's move along to the president now, to what's been going on. So I'll screen share here. Yeah. Okay, so the president announced judicial nominees. He announced Zachary Summers of the District of Columbia to serve as judge on the United States Court of Federal Claims. Okay, you can come here and take a look at his background. Obviously, we need new judges because our judiciary is completely, I would just say that it's weaponized. The judiciary, in my opinion, is weaponized. And it's not representing our Constitution. It's completely, it is the broken branch, and it needs desperate renovation. Also, video of the day, the President Trump welcomes 5 new American citizens this week. Let me just check my volume. I hope it's not too loud. You guys let me know. It was up all the way, actually. Okay, so here's a quick video clip of this, so you can take a look at the president in participating in this ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Okay, so here's the president, and these are 5 new citizens sworn in to the country. So this is wonderful. You can come to the blog and you can check out more of this if you'd like. Yeah, here we go. President Trump joined Acting Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf yesterday as 5 new American citizens took the oath of allegiance to the United States during a naturalization ceremony at the White House. Today, America rejoices as we welcome 5 absolutely incredible new members into our great American family, President Trump said. You are now fellow citizens of the greatest nation on the face of God's earth. Hailing from Bolivia, Lebanon, India, Sudan, and Ghana, these 5 new Americans have embraced our country's values and laws. They'll contribute both as citizens and participants in the great American economy. The group includes a small business owner, a teacher, a software developer, a veterinarian, and a medical worker. President Trump believes in an immigration system that is pro-American, pro-immigrant, and pro-worker. By restoring the rule of law, fairness, and security at our border, our leaders in Washington can protect the safety and prosperity of all Americans while helping our new citizens assimilate and flourish. Last year, President Trump proposed moving America to a merit-based immigration system that would accomplish just that. Our plan includes a sweeping modernization of our dysfunctional legal immigration process, President Trump said. The system will finally be fair, transparent, and promote equality and opportunity for all. Despite inaction from Congress, America's immigration system continues to make strides under President Trump. Historic agreements with Mexico and other countries are making the border safer for legal immigrants and protecting citizens all across our country. Thanks to President Trump and thousands of brave law enforcement officers who make the system work each day, all Americans, including millions of devoted legal immigrants, have an opportunity to achieve the American dream for their families. The White House celebrates Women's Equality Day. This was on, August 26th. 100 years ago today, that was on August 26th, the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution was certified, securing American women the right to vote. In celebration of that historic achievement, First Lady Melania Trump unveiled her Building the Movement exhibit in front of the White House earlier this week. The display features artwork related to women's suffrage from children across the United States. We can take a quick peek at this, unless it's...
The ratification of the 19th Amendment and the women's right to vote was a turning point in the history of women's rights in the United States and stood as an example to the world. Your artistic creativity, attention to detail, and talent in each piece of artwork embraces the spirit of this milestone event in our nation's history. Each of you were selected from hundreds of impressive artwork submissions from across the country to represent your state in this exhibit. It is these women and their brave actions that have provided strength and inspiration to so many mothers, daughters, and sisters who have stamped their own mark on our country, ensuring future generations of women have the ability to pursue their dreams. We can all continue to look forward to the important achievements that women of all ages will make in our society.
Our lovely, lovely, lovely First Lady. I'm always so happy to be able to share some of her accomplishments and everything. Let me just go back and see. Audio's fine, wonderful. Okay, good. Thanks for the update. Yeah, in terms of the toilets in Japan, I see people are still commenting on them in the live chat. Yeah, they are transparent, but when you lock the door, the walls become opaque. Isn't that funny? That is just weird. But that's what they do. I don't know. It's a Japanese thing, I think. Okay, so it's proving that their toilets are clean. The public toilets are something that they can be proud of, whatever. Very good. Not here in America. Boy, they are smelly and horrible. Okay. Last December, the Trump administration secured 12 weeks of paid family leave for federal workers, and the president continues to call on Congress to pass a similar paid family leave program nationwide. President Trump also doubled the child tax credit with his 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, and he signed record funding into law for the Child Care and Development Block Grant that supports working mothers and families. And then there's a video clip of 100 years of women's suffrage in America, and I would like to play that. I might come back and do that at the end. President Trump reads a proclamation on Women's Equality Day. And here's a photo of that. So I'm going to keep moving along because I didn't do a midweek report, and I do have a lot to report on. So I want to make sure that we do get to everything in the news. We already screen shared some video of the president visiting Louisiana and Texas regarding Hurricane Laura, and so he did. The president was briefed, and of course he was aware of what was happening in these different areas, and he has FEMA on the ground there, and everybody is there to start helping help the people whatever way that they can. President also approved an Arkansas emergency declaration, since Arkansas was also hit by this as well. So I mean, I can screen share this for you if you'd like, for those of the viewers on YouTube. So here's the Arkansas emergency declaration. Okay, and we're going to go to West Wing Reads. After 2 deaths during Kenosha protests, Trump's sending federal troops to restore law and order. Sadly, folks, you understand that the president, that there is a separation of powers from the federal government to the state government, that the governors are, the president has been very consistent with his policy. Obviously, not just his policy, but I mean, with how power is structured in the United States. The states have power over their state. The governors have power over their state and have the obligation and duty to call upon the federal government for backup support if they cannot handle a situation. And it looks so. It looks like we're in somewhat uncharted territory when the governors don't call for federal help, and yet they don't stop the rioting and looting either. So, it's almost like Trump, is damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. So, unfortunately, it's kind of like, if he sends troops in now, before they're asked for, then he'll be considered, a tyrannical dictator, right? He can't win. And it's like, no matter what he does. But the bottom line is the governors are responsible for their state and for calling in the National Guard if they can't handle this uprising that's happening. And they haven't been doing it. And I feel really bad for the people who live there because, I mean, just like in my state, it's a liberal state. I didn't vote liberal. So, I didn't vote them in. But what are you going to do? There were apparently, I don't know how it happened, but whatever. Let's move along. So, President Donald Trump said Wednesday he will send federal troops into Kenosha to assist local law enforcement after a third night of violence in the Wisconsin city left 2 people dead, according to Newsweek. We will not stand for looting, arson, violence, and lawlessness on American streets. My team just got off the phone with Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers, who agreed to accept federal assistance. He agreed to accept it. I wonder who made the phone call. See? The president tweeted yesterday. So that really that wasn't a phone call from the governor. That was a phone call to the governor. So I think that that's kind of very telling what that just said. So I'm glad to see that regardless if it was the White House that called them to offer support, it was at least it was timely. President Trump has asked all Americans in the path of Hurricane Laura to stay safe and follow their local guidance on evacuations and safety precautions, which they've already done. That's old news now. According to our internal data, a record 90% of veterans trust the care they get at VA. And during the pandemic, Northeast Ohio demonstrated why we've earned that trust. Veterans Affairs Secretary Robert Wilkie writes, VA Northeast Ohio adopted a testing approach in the nursing home it runs, allowing it to quickly isolate patients when positive COVID tests results came back, according to Cleveland.com. We'll talk a little bit more about this COVID situation in a minute. There was an update from the CDC regarding deaths, and I wanted to screen share that with everybody because I think it's going to be very, 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 very eye-opening. An elderly man's jaw was broken in a sickening caught-on-camera attack as he tried to protect a store that was eventually torched during the Kenosha protests. Lee Brown reports. He was trying to defend his building, and they beat the beans out of him. The videographer sobbed in the clip, according to the New York Post. This is a transcript, which I'm not going to read. This is a, let me scroll up. Look how long these are. I mean, I can't possibly read these. This is a briefing on Hurricane Laura at the FEMA headquarters in Washington, D.C. This was on August 27th. You can come here and take a look at that. We have a statement from the press secretary regarding the administration's purchase of 150 million rapid COVID-19 tests. Today, the Trump administration is pleased to announce the purchase and production of 150 million rapid tests to be distributed across the country. In March, President Donald J. Trump called for the development of a low-cost, reliable point-of-care test. To deliver on this promise, the administration has partnered with Abbott Laboratories to produce inexpensive and easy-to-use Abbott Binax Now tests. This is a major development that will help save more lives by further protecting America's most vulnerable and allow our country to remain open, get Americans back to work, and get kids back to school. Under President Trump's leadership, the United States is leading the world in testing and the development of a wide range of reliable tests. This announcement is made in coordination with the Food and Drug Administration's emergency use authorization for this new type of antigen test, in which results can be read directly from the testing card. Made in America for Americans, these new tests exemplify President Trump's whole of America approach, which harnessed industry and innovation to ensure America leads the world in combating COVID-19. Through Operation Warp Speed and in partnership with Abbott Laboratories, final production will be scaled to an unprecedented 50 million tests monthly. God, we just get tired. I'm sorry. We just get a little tired of this because it's like, if I was in that press conference, I'd be asking the president about about the legitimacy of the whole COVID scamdemic that's going on. Everything that, and I'm going to screen share in a little while why I'm saying this, that these deaths aren't even, the CDC updated their website to reflect the accurate number of deaths by COVID, which is far, far different than what they are pushing and what their narrative is that they're trying to push. Whatever. We'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge eventually. We had the president speaking at FEMA headquarters. He announced that he will be traveling to Texas and Louisiana. the hurricane made the landfall at about 1 a.m. Central Time in Louisiana, and it was really, really very, very, very powerful. All Americans are thinking of the great people of Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, and Mississippi, and all of those incredible states that are affected, President Trump said. And of course, at the GoldFish Report and all of our viewers, I would hope to think that our hearts go out to these people, and we do hope if they need, the help, that they get the help that they need, and everybody should pray for their safety and for their strength, so that they can rebuild and resume their life. President Trump and his administration are closely monitoring the situation on the ground and has mobilized the federal government to support response efforts. So they did as much precautionary measures as they could last week, and that's all they could. That's basically it. As a result, over 3.5 million meals and 1.7 million liters of water were pre-positioned in Louisiana and Texas alone. As the president said in the clip that I had shared earlier, we actually overstocked this year because we knew it was going to be a higher than average hurricane season. So we're in good shape, FEMA Administrator Pete Gaynor said. We have plenty of funding from the Disaster Relief Fund, and so no one should worry about that in Texas, Louisiana, or Arkansas this morning. The president encouraged all Americans who were in the storm's path to continue to heed the advice of local and state officials regarding evacuation orders and safety precautions, and where they're going to take people in terms of evacuating. I'm sure a lot of people had nowhere to go. This was like Katrina, and it's not a coincidence that this was 15 years ago to the day today that Katrina happened. So not a coincidence, folks. So this is a little bit more about that from the president. And this is a photo of the president and vice president at the FEMA National Response Coordination Center. And I'm going to go back up before I move on to another more news. Let's see. The president announced intent to nominate the following individuals to a key administration post. We have Chad Wolf of Virginia to be Secretary of Homeland Security. You can come and take a look at his background and a little bit more about him if you want to read about this person's background. So let me just check in with my live chat viewers. How is Donald the Great? Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying that. How is everybody doing in the live chat? Everybody doing all right? That's good. Thanks. I'm going to move along so we can finish this on time. For those of you, I will be okay. So after this report today on Ascension Radio, the second hour on Ascension Radio will be for this week's Political Theater Report with the FETs, which is Election 2020, America versus China. So that's what will be. That will be the report with the FETs. That'll immediately follow this report on Ascension Radio. So for those of the viewers who are tuning in on YouTube, you can go to Ascension Radio, and I'll put that address here. Okay. So there's the address, the URL for Ascension Radio that I just put in the live chat. If you'd like to listen to or watch the Political Theater Report with the FETs this week, you can do that on Ascension Radio immediately following this report. So I'm going to stop sharing because I'm not on the right. Okay, hold on a second. Here we go. Just a second. Okay. There's also some things that I'm going to report on that are not posted on the blog yet because they are pooler reports, so I don't usually screen share them. I'll report them, but I won't screen share them because they are private emails from the poolers, press poolers. So here we have President Trump approves Louisiana disaster declaration, which we knew that he would. We also have a proclamation on adjusting imports of steel into the country. So the president had earlier in 2018 declared, I guess upon the recommendation of the Secretary of Commerce, had the secretary found and advised him that the steel articles that were being imported into the United States in such quantities and under such circumstances as to threaten to impair the national security of the United States. They did not go into detail too much about that. I think there were issues though about quality of. We were importing this Chinese steel that was like extremely weak, and using it in important construction projects. Like, why would we do that? If anybody knows about steel, it's the president, because of his real estate. He's built so many skyscrapers. He knows exactly. He's so the perfect person for this job. So you can come here and take a look. If this interests you, you can come to the blog and take a look in a little bit more detail as to what the situation is with the steel imports. But we know that the president is on top of this issue. We also have a big deal statement from the press secretary regarding the pardon of Alice Marie Johnson. Today, President Trump signed an executive grant of clemency, full pardon, for Alice Marie Johnson. In 2018, the president commuted Mrs. Johnson's sentence in light of her hard work and rehabilitation while in prison, including model behavior for more than 2 decades and mentorship to her fellow inmates. Miss Johnson, a 65-year-old great-grandmother, served nearly 22 years in federal prison for a first-time nonviolent criminal offense. Oh my God. While incarcerated, she completed numerous training and education courses, volunteered in a hospice, contributed her talents to art and theater programs, and held steadfast to her Christian beliefs. Although sentenced to life with little hope for freedom, Miss Johnson nonetheless worked to better herself, those around her, and her community. Since President Trump commuted her sentence, Miss Johnson had shared her story of redemption and has worked with lawmakers on landmark criminal justice reform efforts. Her selfless commitment to serving others since her release sets an exceptional example for our nation's citizens, especially for those seeking to rejoin their communities after prison. For these reasons, Alice Marie Johnson is well deserving of this pardon. It's very nice. So here are some stories that the president doesn't want you to miss. You can't handle rioting radicals like university unrest. According to the New York Post, since the 1960s, campus leaders have perfected a script. Student activists can take over administrative offices or the library. These violations are tolerated as long as not too much is disrupted, really. In recent months, we have seen this script applied to city streets, where the costs are higher than having to bite your lip as inflamed 19-year-olds berate you. R.R. Reno writes from the New York Post. Justice Department asks New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania for COVID data on nursing home deaths. Well, this is nice. This is nice to see that the administration is going to be holding these liberal states and their governors accountable for what happened with all these deaths in the nursing homes. The Justice Department on Wednesday requested COVID-19 data from 4 states. It says required nursing homes to accept residents infected with the coronavirus. Policies that may have rendered elderly Americans unnecessarily put at risk and which may have resulted in the deaths of thousands of elderly nursing home residents, Daniel Payne reports. President Trump takes action to further protect nursing homes. And there's more on that. You can come to the blog and click on that and take a look at that. We already reported on this as well previously. From Los Angeles to New York, Trump plan would cure school reopening chaos. From Los Angeles to New York and many stops in between, America's public school teachers unions have demanded that schools remain physically closed, that police forces be defunded, and that unrealistic COVID testing policies be implemented. These unions do not seem to care that it is the most disadvantaged students in our nation who will be most negatively affected by their decisions, Kevin Nicholson writes. Enough is enough. Trump gave veterans real and permanent choice. It's been more than a year since President Trump ushered in the greatest improvement to veteran health care since World War II, and the media still refuse to credit him with his accomplishment. Reporters are playing word games instead of reporting the facts, and are failing to tell the public what millions of veterans know. The Department of Veterans Affairs has never worked better, according to VA Secretary Robert Wilkie. White House announces $750 million deal for Abbott Labs COVID-19 rapid test. Could be a rabid test. It is rabid, isn't it? It's more rabid than anything. The White House has announced a $750 million deal with Abbott Laboratories Thursday to buy $150 million of its new rapid coronavirus tests, Lucas Manfredi writes. This major development in testing will save lives by further protecting America's most vulnerable and will allow our country to get more Americans safely back to work and school. Here is the full pardon. This is the transcript, and here's the president talking about. This is the full transcript of the event of pardoning Alice Johnson. And here the president says, and you spent 22 years, Alice was given a life sentence. She knows many people have been put in prison, whether they should have been or not. She knows they were put in there for too long. The president said, and you spent about 22 years there. And Miss Johnson said, yes. And the president said, and for something that today a lot of people wouldn't even be going to jail for. And it was horrible. And we found out about it. And we gave a commutation. That means we were able to get Alice out. And she has been just so outstanding. And I'm so proud of her. So you might want to take a look at this if you want to see. It's just the court system, the broken branch. This is part of it, right? The failed criminal justice system. It's just not right, folks. There's just something not right about all this, and we all need to be playing a part of this. We all need to be playing a part in this, right? Not letting these kangaroo courts take our kids from us. Yeah, hi Sherry. How you doing? Ascension Radio doesn't work very well on Chrome. If you have Safari or other types of browsers, they tend to work, but for some reason, Chrome tends to block them. And I'm not surprised because Chrome does the same thing to me too. I have trouble sometimes with GoldFish Report using, with Chrome. So let's see. I don't know if Audrey Lewis is there, if he can maybe jump into the live chat, or if somebody can jump into the live chat. I don't know if, let's see, where is James Borg? Is he around? Is James Borg in the house? Maybe we can get him in the house. Try to figure out why Sherry's having trouble getting onto Ascension Radio again. Let's see. I'm going to see if James is around. I'm going to send her a message. Onto the radio show. That's not good. Okay. So what else do we have? Well, this is something that I wanted to share with everybody this week. What do we see here? Let's check this out, folks. Let's check this out. This is an update by the CDC. Yeah? Take a look. Weekly updates by select demographic and geographic characteristics. And so the content is all these different topics, and we can also go list of topics, comorbidities. Yeah. And there's also some different graphs here and tables. We should take a look at this. So what I have here, and I'm going to screen share this so you can see it a little bit closer. You can see it a little bit better, I should say. wait a second. Is this it? Yeah. So under comorbidities, okay, Table 3 shows the type of health conditions and contributing causes mentioned in conjunction with deaths involving coronavirus disease. But for 6% of the deaths, COVID-19 was the only cause mentioned. 6%, folks, of what they're claiming of how many people actually died, because they counted people who died with COVID, not of COVID, as Dr. Judy Mikovits clearly explained to us, right? So for deaths with conditions or causes in addition to COVID-19, on average, there were 2.6 additional conditions or causes per death. The number of deaths with each condition or cause is shown for all deaths by age group for data on comorbidities. So what they're saying essentially, folks, is that only 6% of the numbers, 6% of the numbers are actually accurate. So all deaths involving influenza with or without COVID-19 or pneumonia was only 6,640, not the 100,000 that the people that it's being reported. Yeah. So you see table 2, deaths involving coronavirus disease. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy, folks. Let's take a look at this. Let's look at this chart. This was chart number 2. Yeah. Deaths involving coronavirus disease, pneumonia, and influenza reported to NCHS by place of death. So here we have place of death, healthcare setting, and patient. So here they have the total is 164,280. That's what they're saying is the total number of deaths were. Right? Involving COVID-19, but not of COVID-19, right? Here we have all deaths involving influenza with or without COVID-19 or pneumonia, which is 6,640. All deaths involving influenza with or without COVID-19 or pneumonia. $6,640. So it looks like deaths involving pneumonia with or without COVID-19, excluding influenza deaths, was 169,000. So these were people who died of pneumonia, who either had or didn't have COVID, but they didn't have influenza. Okay, it was 169,000. We have deaths involving COVID and pneumonia, excluding influenza, is 72,000. I mean, look at this. All deaths involving influenza with or without COVID-19, 6,640. Look, I'm just trying to point this out. This was updated, and I think what they need to do is they need to, I mean, why aren't they asking the president these questions in the press conferences, in the press briefings? That these numbers are not... Okay, good. I'm glad you're chatting with Sherry Ascension Radio. Good. All right, good. Thanks for jumping in there. Excellent. So I wanted to screen share that with you because anyone getting mad yet? Is anybody getting mad yet? I'm just curious if anyone's getting mad and fed up with this. Some other news that I'm going to report on involving the president and topics of discussion here. We know that Germany had a very, very big protest today regarding their draconian COVID lockdown measures. So that's a big deal. But let's listen to the president for a little bit. Let's listen to the president a little bit here. This was, I think, in New Hampshire last night. Let me screen share this. Sorry. Where did it go? What's she doing? Yes, I know. I told Chrome. I'm sorry. I'm looking at a message from Ascension Radio, and I know Chrome is not thrilled with your website. So you have to go into Safari or use some other web browser if you want to go onto Ascension Radio. It doesn't access the video, unfortunately. Yep. Okay. So let's go back to Twitter because we're going to screen share and play some clips from the president this week. So I know that's why everybody came here. So let's listen to what the president had to say when he was in New Hampshire earlier.
Joe Biden's agenda is made in China. My agenda is made in America. Joe Biden's agenda is made in China. My agenda is made in America.
Exactly. We're going to screen share some other clips from the president. That was from today. I'm going to keep going. Another major Wisconsin boat parade. Just wanting the president to know in Wisconsin they do support him. That's wonderful. Here's some more quotes from the president. And
over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world. That's happening already.
Yeah.
Over the
manufacturing superpower. And that's a lot of, labor jobs, right? That's a lot of jobs for people who are looking for jobs. That's good news. Manufacturing superpower, because we, through NAFTA, exported all of our manufacturing to other countries and left the skilled workers high and dry. That's what the Obama administration did. So let's take a look at some other clips here. Let's listen to what else the president had to say.
Your jobs. By the way, it's not Biden. It's not Biden. It's his masters. They tell him what to do. His masters.
His masters tell him what to do. Did you hear that? And you notice how he pointed to the head, right? He's giving us a signal there. And of course, as you all know, that 50,000 gathered today. This was yesterday, maybe? No, it's today. Led by race baiter Al Sharpton, but they can't vote in person, right? Isn't voting in person a form of peaceful protesting? So why can't they do that? Yes, things that make you go, exactly. There's a lot of other stories here that you'll want to come and take a look at. I'm not going to go over all of them, but we also post many memes. I'm going to be doing a Meme Monday. I'll be back to my regular schedule doing the news through memes. So maybe we can stay on, we won't be as censored. We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. Right? Here is Sturgis. This is a post. Someone went to Sturgis for 6 days. They didn't wear masks. They estimated nearly 500,000 were there. It's been over 2 weeks since they were back. Nobody's sick. Everyone's feeling great. Voting in person is safe. That's right. There's a big deal with Sturgis, right? Leftist teacher reinstated after pushing radical left propaganda on school children. And I can confirm this, not just with this story here, but my kids have been very uncomfortable with some of the agendas being pushed on them and comments and personal opinions of the teachers who should be remaining neutral. Okay, let's move along. Here they go again, folks. Look, Kenosha burns. CNN continues mostly peaceful riots propaganda. Folks, this is propaganda at its best, right? At its finest. It's the most fake news that you could possibly get. We all know CNN is fake news. Its ratings, it's almost destroyed. They've almost wiped themselves off the map. I don't know who's even watching them anymore, to be honest with you. We've had other people posting news that, seeing what they're doing to us today. This is by Sean Cordonon on Twitter, who's saying, seeing what they're trying to do to us with COVID makes it extremely easy to see what they did in Nazi Germany, doesn't it? Why is fluoride in our tap water? What was Project Paperclip? Who funded the Nazis? who truly won World War II? Who is the Nephilim? These are all great questions that QAnon raises and talks about. And these are major protests that are going on worldwide regarding these draconian and fascist lockdowns regarding COVID, which we can all see is already. So we also have protests against coronavirus lockdown measures take place in London. We also know there was a big protest in New Zealand as well. So people around the world are just not taking it anymore. They're not. They're definitely getting up and standing up for themselves, which is what they're supposed to be, what they were supposed to do from a long time ago, right? From the beginning. We have some memes. Let's watch this meme. Let's see what this is about.
To go and leave this pretty sight. So long, farewell, I'll be to saying adieu.
Adieu, adieu, to you and you and you.
So long, farewell, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.
I'd like to stay and taste my first champagne. Yes?
No.
All right, I'm going to stop there. You can go to the Twitter page and take a look before I get another copyright claim on my account. Because, that's just what happens. Yeah, truth is coming out about what actually happened in Kenosha. Classic self-defense by American patriot Kyle Rittenhouse. And we will prove it at trial, according to his lawyer, who also represented Sandman. Here's Germany. I mean, look at this. Look at this picture. Germany wants President Trump. Look at that. It's almost a little scary how. Isn't it a little bit like, it's great that people are admiring President Trump, but follow me along on this here. Thanks, Delacroix. Great. Thanks for joining me. It was wonderful that you were here. Yeah, I know, Slim. Hi, Slim. How you doing? It's very possible that's what he was inferring there. I get you. I didn't want to say it, but it's very possible that he was, referring to the fact that the original Biden's gone and this is a clone. And I think, if you looked into it, that's, I think what a lot of people read from that as well. But think about it, folks. I mean, think about all these pictures. Think about all the. We've screen shared this, and you've seen it. You've seen it yourself all over social media, of all over the world. When the president was in Japan, there were protesters in Japan holding up Trump signs, make Japan great again, make Hong Kong great again, make Germany great again. I mean, it's a little scary to think we could have a one world leader, because it's like a little too close to this idea of having this one world government. It's a little scary, but it's if the people had their way, it would happen, right? Like, we'd have Donald Trump as the world, global leader. And I'm not saying he probably wouldn't make a very fine one. He probably would. But it's a little interesting. I find it quite interesting. I don't know if you have any comments about that. Please put your comments in there. Please put your comments in and let me know what you think about that, because it is just a little bit freaky. It's just a little bit freaky to think that, the reality is, Donald Trump could possibly run the world. I think he's capable of it. And I think he's, but in a sense, I mean, doesn't it just scare you a little bit that there would be one person in charge? Even if he's good and capable, just seems a little bit, I don't know. Is it prophetic? It's a little prophetic. The end times, right? Whatever. Here it is. Please, Mr. President, make Germany great again. Look, they all want President Trump. They all want him. Here's London today. Q, with a Q on here. What happened to yellow vests? Remember yellow vests? They shut those down with COVID real quick, right? And this was the issue. The Posse Comitatus Act limits the powers of the federal government in the use of federal military personnel to enforce domestic policies within the U.S. The military needs to stay apolitical. Top general says no role for military in presidential vote. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Whose side is he on anyway? I think it's very clear whose side he's on. It's not about being political. It's about protecting the democracy, protecting the rule of law. Yeah, so everybody knew, everybody heard about this, right? Everybody heard, like, here's a picture of Ron Paul being just absolutely assaulted and mobbed by these protesters. Take a look. If you didn't see this, this is it here. This is...
What's up, bro? I got you.
This happened to quite a few people, many people, as they were leaving the fourth night of the Republican convention that was at the White House on the front lawn there. In other news, I don't know if you heard about this, but I'm going to play this because this is very, very,
in
very
the Navy,
concerning.
Air Force, I don't care, right? Every single soldier in the United States military needs to be upset, needs to be concerned with what's going on at Fort Hood right now. I don't care if you're in the Navy, Air Force, I don't care, right? Because this is the third body that's been found dead within the past month or so, and the seventh body that's been found dead within the past year or so. This is not normal. And before anybody gets to, well, you know, these types of things happen. No, it does not. Before I went Special Forces, I was an MP on Fort Bragg, where a lot of wild stuff happens. This did not happen. 7 bodies in a year did not happen. We owe it to the workforce to show a little bit more concern, and that's why I'm calling the action right now. I'm asking that the federal government send in the FBI to conduct an investigation on why soldiers continue to go missing or
found dead. This is concerning, folks. This is very concerning. I think that there's a lot of comments on this as well. A lot of people, you know, here's another story. A lot of bad stuff is happening at Fort Hood, like human trafficking, according to this person. I cannot confirm this. But, you know, why on earth do we have these deaths of recently deceased Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino and his Temple of Set operating on an army base? He couldn't be the only one doing that. Folks, this Satanist, he's a lieutenant colonel in the army, and he had his Temple of Set, which is a satanic cult, operating on a military base. Really? Yes, and that was involved in trauma-based mind control with the MK Ultra, and they invoked, so this was satanic ritual abuse. This is where it comes from, folks. Folks, this better make big news. This has to make big news. This has to make big news. This has to stop. This has to stop. So hopefully we can get an answer as to what's happening. Is there human trafficking going on? Is there something more sinister? I mean, that's pretty sinister. But is there, you know, satanic sacrifices going on these army bases? What the heck's going on? We got to find out. Here's the end of the ceremony, the Republican National Convention. You can take a look. It says 2020 at the end. Very nice. And so after this wonderful conclusion to the evening, there was all the mob rules, the mobs that were all going to, that were accosting everybody who were leaving the event. So I wanted to leave it off on a positive note there. Of course, there's also U.S. Marshals recover 39 missing children in Georgia operation for child trafficking. It's amazing what President Trump's doing for those sex trafficking raid. I mean, and none of the mainstream media, folks, if you notice, none of the mainstream media are asking questions about this. Berlin, we have the tanks moving in Berlin because they knew that the protesters were coming, and the protesters were told that they were going to be met with force. You know, it's worldwide tyranny, folks. We're in worldwide martial law, medical martial law, and we're allowing it to happen, right? We're allowing it to happen. There's lots of other stories here on the Twitter page, folks. I don't know. This one is pretty funny. This is you should zoom in on that because it's quite funny, actually. So I hope everybody's enjoyed their night tonight. I hope you enjoyed the report. We're going to get going now, and those were really great fireworks. That was basically it for the week. You can stay tuned if you want to follow us on. I would suggest Safari or some other web browser other than Chrome, because Chrome's not that compatible with Ascension Radio. But if you'd like to go over and follow us on Ascension Radio, we're going to get into some more details about the convention. And of course, not one person during the Democratic convention, had any issue with these protesters. Nobody, went out and said that they condemn it or anything. Not one person condemned it. And then you had Kamala Harris come out and say they're not going to stop. These protests are not going to stop. It's on the Twitter feed. You can go check it out. They're not going to stop up until the election, and they're not going to stop after the election. That's what she said because it's the Democrats doing it. So I really hope people wake up and see this. So thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you. I hope you enjoyed the report tonight. Please follow us over on Ascension Radio, and you can get more details and more information about what happened this past week regarding the convention and other news. So thank you, everybody, for joining me. We'll be back Monday with Meme Monday, the news through memes, and also our political theater, which will be available only on BitChute, and hopefully also maybe next weekend will also be available on Ascension Radio as well. So that's the best we can do to keep our presence on YouTube right now, is to try to keep the most controversial material diversify across different platforms until after the election, at least. So I hope everybody has a great night. Thanks for joining me. And this concludes this edition of the GoldFish Report.